Hi there, my name's Miles Hudson, and I'm going to read to you the opening chapter of my new detective novel, The Kidney Killer. Chapter 0, Thursday. Where are we going? The pub's there! Sue pointed back across the T-junction where they'd just turned left into Old Elvet. Just a sec! Marina was fiddling with her phone. She dropped it into her handbag and turned back towards the Crown. A white transit van had also turned at the lights and pulled into the parking space just beside them. The side door slid open and a large man climbed out. He stood in front of the two women, a full head taller than either of them. In black jeans, a black hoodie, and with a closely shaven head, he was intimidating, just standing still. In heels and skirts, ready for a night out, Sue and Marina leant closer to each other. Marina slipped her arm through Sue's and clung on. Get in! The man was gruff but clear. All three stood still. Without taking her eyes from him, Sue leant her head closer to Marina's and whispered, Run! She was between the van's doorway and Marina and rotated towards her friend to set off away from the man. He swept a thick arm across them at shoulder height. It knocked Marina into Sue and both of them into the dark hole that was the back of the van. Sue saw another figure inside and felt hands grab her. A bag went over her head and she was hurled down onto her face on the metal floor. The van revved and pulled away sharply. She felt a pricking pain in her neck and darkness came. Despite fighting them, her eyes flickered closed and all sound and light faded. Sue woke again in a larger vehicle than the one she'd been thrown into. This was some sort of small truck. It was brightly lit and rattling along at pace. She felt straps tying her, face down, head hanging over the end of a solid table. She couldn't move. But not just up by the ties, Sue was paralysed. She couldn't even turn her head. It bounced around a little with the movement of the vehicle, but not under any control. The vehicle pulled up to a halt. The engine died and there was a banging on the wall. The noise's direction sounded like the driver was hitting the back wall inside the cab. Her field of view encompassed much of the truck's grey floor under the table, the bottom of the walls, and two pairs of feet. Standing to her left, almost too far to see, were black boots under black jeans. In Sue's mind, this was the big brute who had grabbed them on Old Elvet. The other wore trainers and blue jeans. She felt like she'd seen the trainers before, too. Hands were paying close attention to her torso. They prodded her side just above the hip bone. She could feel the fingers directly on her skin. Sue was naked. She tried to call out, but no sound came. Sue realised that her mouth wouldn't move when she told it to. She tried to wriggle and wrestle against the bindings, but the outcome was the same as shouting. None of her muscles made any movement when her brain instructed them to. Based on the direction of the deceleration, Sue reckoned she was by the back doors of the truck. She imagined it as large enough to fit a second table to hold Marina, but couldn't see far forward. It was impossible to check if her friend had also been transferred to this second vehicle. Intense pain shot through her side. Sue instinctively screamed, but again, no sound came out. She was unable to move at all, and the person in trainers was inflicting the worst pain she'd ever felt. It steadied, still making her wince inwardly, but got no worse. Sue felt something sliding into what must have been a deep cut in her side. It was cold and thin. She imagined a metal pen being inserted. A new pain gouged into her back, not far from the first cut. Sue passed out. And that's the opening scene from The Kidney Killer by M. Hudson.